name is Adedara Oduguwa. I am a chieftain of Afenifere in Ogun State and also the Chief Executive Officer of Exclusive Biographer. I will be talking on my perspectives on Nigerian politics, the forthcoming election, and the position of Afenifere. I am a social commentator, a researcher, human resource expert, and presently not a member of any political party in Nigeria. So my perspective is going to be based on what is on ground, not based on my partisanship. So everything I'm going to be saying today will be based on what I believe Nigerians should expect in the coming days. Well, if I get your question, you are asking about the 18 candidates that INEC is presenting for the forthcoming election that will be starting in February 25, 2023. I'm going to divide these candidates into two, the major and the minor candidates. The major candidates are just 4, whereas the other 14 are minor. So the major candidates are Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu of APC, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of PDP, Mr. Peter Obi of Labour Party, and Alhaji Rabiu Kwakwanso of NNPP. If you look at this categorization, I'm also going to put it like 2 of these 4 are from the north, 2 of these 4 are from the south. As far as I am concerned, and from the records in the public domain, all these candidates are declared by INEC, and there is no pending issues, there is no pending criminal charges against any one of them, and I believe that they are all qualified. Alhaji Rabiu Kwakwanso is a present senator and a former minister and also a former governor in Nigeria. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was a former vice president for 8 years under President Olusegun Obasanjo in this country. And Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a former senator and a 2-time governor in Lagos State. And finally, Mr. Peter Obi of Labour Party was a former governor in Anambra State for 8 years. So if you look at their political trajectories, you will realize that all of them have the experience, all of them are seasoned politicians, and all of them are very qualified to be President of Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you ask me to answer that question from my own perspective, it will not be nice. So I'm going to put it in these present realities. I'm going to put that answer in the present realities in the Nigerian political sphere. And I'm going to do this analysis like this. Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu happened to be the leader of APC Nigeria. In fact, he was a co-founder of the party, and this is the first time in Nigeria that an opposition will be winning a ruling party. So a lot of people believe that it was as a result of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's contribution to the party that made the party victorious in 2015. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was a former vice president in this country for 8 years. And for people who have been following Nigerian politics, it was realized that without him, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo would not have won that election in the first place. So he was a major contributor to that election and a very powerful politician from the north. Alhaji Rabiu Kwakwanso as well, being the former governor, and he happened to be a very powerful leader to the north. If you have heard about the Kwakwanso movement, this is the founder of that movement. And then Mr. Peter Obi looks like the lightweight among them. Yes, former governor of Anambra State, and considering the population of people in Anambra compared to other people, other contestants, other major contestants, you realize that Mr. Peter Obi looks more like the lightweight among them. Although he is favored by some Nigerian youth elite. Because when we are saying Nigerian youth, you have to look at generality. You should not look at the Nigerian youth on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on the TikTok or IG. You should look at Nigerian youth generally. So if you look at the percentage of Nigerian youth talking about Peter Obi, these are just educated Nigerians, educated Nigerian youth, educated Nigerian elite in diaspora and at home who believe that, maybe Peter Obi can be the change they are yearning for. But if you look at the generality of the youth, Mr. Peter Obi doesn't control up to 20% of the Nigerian youth that we are talking about. So if you look at that perspective, you realize that these are the things that will play major roles in this election. The region you are from, the party you are in, your past experience and your past achievements. People are going to put all this into cognizance in knowing whether you are worth to be voted for or not. And then your personality. In all this also, I believe that Mr. Peter Obi is also disadvantaged. For example, the Labour Party that Mr. Peter Obi is coming out to contest from doesn't have any governor, any sitting governor. It doesn't have any sitting House of Rep or House of Senate member. The party doesn't have any sitting chairman or councillor. So structurally, the party is at disadvantage. Apart from that, Mr. Peter Obi is coming from Anambra State. And I believe that a lot of people will say, before you want to rule the country, what have you done at home? Presently, there is unrest in Anambra State and the entire Southeast that is making a lot of people to believe that there are two governments in this region, the IPOB government and the Federal Republic of Nigeria government. This is going to really play a really major role in that election. And if you look at Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, his party, the PDP, controls a number of states in this country. And this party controls about 12 states. And if you look at these states, they have governors, they have rep, they have assembly members, they have senators and the rest of it. So in the coming election, you will not expect Mr. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to have less votes in these states. If you have to go by history, it's going to clear all the states that are PDP-owned states naturally. So even if it's missing out, it can still have like 8 states from the ruling state of PDP. So, and then for Mr. Rabiu Kwakwanso, his party, NNPP, is having senator, and I think he's having like 2 reps. So the party also have more structure than the Labour Party counterpart. So we should be expecting him to have more votes than Mr. Peter Obi if we have to go by the statistics I have here. And then finally, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I believe is more favored in terms of party structure, in terms of the APC control states. And if you look at the previous elections that have been held this year, the elections have been run in accordance to these statistics. For example, look at what happened in Ekiti. Ekiti is a state controlled by APC, and during the election, the result that came was almost equal to the last election that was done in that state. So APC won again. In Osun State, if you look at the result that happened in Osun, Mr. Peter Obi was at Osun to campaign for his candidate there, for the Labour Party candidate. But at the end of the day, you can see the results. The candidate of Labour Party in Osun did not even have up to 5,000 votes. That shows that even though upon the noise on social media, upon the campaigns going on, the people are not still ready to vote for Labour Party. So if you look at this analysis I've given, and coming to the election proper, you realize that this is going to play a major role. So I still believe that from what is happening, and considering the fact that there is a crack in PDP between the presidential flag bearer of the party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Governor Wike and 4 others, I don't see how the PDP will seat the APC at this time. Unfortunately, Mr. Peter Obi is not going to even come second. The highest he will get from this election, considering the statistics on ground. This is not based on my personal perspective, but it's based on this reality. Mr. Peter Obi should be expecting to be like third position or fourth. So he's going to contest. So I believe that it's not contest to be president of Nigeria, it's actually contest to win Mr. Kwakwanso in this coming election. Now, it is also possible, if you want to look at it from another angle, that the coming election would have been a fight between two men. That's Alhaji Atiku and Ahmed Bola Tinubu. But the way it is now, crack in PDP, and also considering the fact that even Mr. Peter Obi happened to be a PDP member, that is a major problem, because a house divided against itself cannot stand, according to Abraham Lincoln of America. So if you look at that, we are saying in PDP alone, we are having three major parties now, or three major factions. The Wike faction, who have said they are going to vote for another person, not the kind of their party. The Labour faction, which is Peter Obi's faction, and then the Alhaji Atiku faction. So at the end of the day, the major loser in all this will be Alhaji Atiku, and the major gainer of this will be Alhaji Bola Tinubu. So from my own perspective and the reality on ground, I believe that Bola Tinubu might be the next president of Nigeria. And considering, I have to add this, considering the fact that, this is Alhaji Bola Tinubu is actually contesting under the ruling party. If you check Africa, it is rare for you to defeat a ruling party. And even if you have to defeat a ruling party, two things must happen. All the oppositions, including the social groups, the student unions, the labor unions, the traditional institutions, the religion union associations, all of them must come in accordance into one fold to fight against the ruling party. And that is not happening today in Nigeria. All of them are divided. So a lot of people also believe that the Muslim ticket might play a major role. Yes, it will play a major role in favor of Alhaji Bola Tinubu. It's not going to affect his vote. I can tell you for free that most Christians don't vote in this country. I will tell you that most times when there are election, Christians are always keeping to themselves. A lot of them have the PVC, but they use it. So that's another factor that is going to favor Alhaji Bola Tinubu. So from my end, and from the realities on ground, from the statistics we have as researchers and statisticians, I want to tell you that the next president of Nigeria is likely to be Alhaji Bola Tinubu.